Good morning. Happy Thursday. It looks like it's still preparing the live stream, so we'll just give it a minute here.
Okay.
Okie dokie. Let's do it. We are here. It is Thursday, and we are talking about staying grounded.
Not flying the handle, staying grounded.
It is so needed right now, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, it is.
There's a lot of energy going on. I know in everybody's lives, we all have a lot that we're managing, and there's a lot of energy going on around us globally. So I know that without a doubt, we are feeling the energy of the times. And everybody definitely has their own unique experience, but would you agree, Mom, Tess,
Yes.
that there's a lot going on and everybody's going through something?
Yes, everybody is going through something, and I think that's why today's topic is so important, to stay grounded. And really how this originated was I got a call early Monday morning from a client saying, I just got a notice that I have a meeting with my boss and the CEO. What do I do? And so we went through this process of, well, first of all, stay grounded, don't assume the worst.
Mm-hmm.
And keep your mind clear, really listen, slow yourself down, really think through what's being said. And today what we're taking everybody through, that's how it originated. And then we moved some of that information, because of what we do, we're always utilizing what we're learning. We put that into our September newsletter of
Yeah.
staying grounded, and we elaborated on it because it was so powerful from that one phone call.
Yeah.
And then telling the story of my brother-in-law visiting over the summer and talking about being entrepreneurs and business owners, and how grounding that was to just have this deep conversation, and how fulfilling that was. And what I love about that conversation back in July was we're continuing that conversation now, back and
Yeah.
forth. It's really brought a deep connection for us. So I trust our listeners will know and understand that we're not just in our offices, or we're not just on Zoom with one another trying to create, oh, what's the subject matter for this month? We're actually living the subject matter. We're listening to our clients, and we're engaged with what's going on in our clients' lives and in our own lives. And that's where so much of really all of our content comes from.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I think it's encouraging to each of us every day too. I know as I was preparing for our chat today and doing the exercise, I was like, oh, I actually needed this
Yeah.
exercise. We go through it when we're editing and, before we put everything out in the newsletter, but it really is helpful. And it did help me ground. And we'll talk more about what that means here, but we just want to recognize that we know that there are different experiences going on in everybody's lives right now. So there are lots of big life-changing things for people. We know that people are, we've been talking to people that are dropping their kids off at college. Some people
Yes.
might have relationships ending, or they're caring for elderly family members. So those all bring up lots of mixed emotions. And then there might be something big and new that's exciting going on as well. We have clients that have gotten promotions
Yes.
lately.
Yay.
We've, yes, applauding that, bringing new family members into the world. Certainly, we've
Yes,
experienced that, and lots of our friends as well, building our business, and we know many others building their business too. So everybody's reality is going to be unique to them and their version, their lens, and yet the tips that we're going to share today are, excuse me, useful whatever you're going through, because
yes,
it's important to stay grounded when those really tough times come. And it's also important to stay grounded when we're celebrating and everything feels really good, right?
yes,
And we
yes.
talk about this, we were just talking about this, the tension that gets held in life. Nobody is not experiencing something that's tough and difficult. And most people are also experiencing really amazing things too. And we can always root in gratitude, in being present. Those aren't even the tips today, but those are just always underlying in everything that we do. So leading with gratitude when the things that come up that are hard, well, okay, what lessons am I learning? We've
Yes,
we've
yes,
managed a lot of hard things this year, and we've been able to come out the other side because we've chosen to stay grounded, right?
absolutely, absolutely. Which I love the quote is stay grounded in the present and you will be strongly grounded for your future. I believe
Yes.
that. I've lived that. And I'll continue to live that for the rest of my life. Staying grounded is so key. Yes,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's like how we talk about our choices matter and the way that we think matters, because what we're choosing, how we're choosing to think and act today is going to affect our future. So the best thing that we can do now is to be present and to make the best decisions for the moment, and also be thinking about how is this going to benefit me and everybody else around me for the future.
absolutely. Absolutely. So,
So as we go into the exercise here, we do encourage you to hop over to our blog on tesscoxandassociates.com. The exercise is there for you free to download. It's also on our LinkedIn page. So if you don't have that with you today, you can do that on your own time. And we're just going to talk through some of these questions that are going to give you tips to stay grounded. So the first tip is slowing down. And now nobody wants to do this. Literally everybody that we talk to is like, I'm too busy. I can't possibly slow down. And yet it is proven that when you slow down in the moment and you're able to think more clearly, you're actually able to make better decisions. And then it speeds you up in the long run. So as we encourage people to think about their daily routine and their work and their responsibilities, the tasks, the projects, the to-do lists, all of the things, the meetings that they need to attend, why don't you give us an example, Tess, of when do you need to slow down your mind and pay attention to your breathing? So this
mm.
first one of slowing down, what stands out to you about slowing down your mind and paying attention to your breathing?
Well, I have a compare and contrast. Years ago, in my plate spinning days, where I said yes to everything and was so busy, my mind was constantly going and on the move. And as I really had to face a critical incident in my life and look at how I was creating life, I needed to pay more attention to slowing down. Space was okay to have. And really acknowledging that space was okay was a big mindset change for me. I thought I've got 24 hours. If I'm sleeping 6 or 7 hours, then the rest of the hours all have to be filled with something. And I needed to change that mindset. And so now in the work that I do, and really over the last 20-25 years, it's been this learning curve of giving myself that space to slow down,
Mm-hmm.
um, to actually give my clients the I give myself space between clients where I'm taking a deep breath, I'm resetting my mindset, I'm letting go of what I just listened to and heard and spoke into, and then entering into the new space of the new client. That is my responsibility, to slow myself down, to be fully present for those that I serve. And I know we practice this as well when we are doing team building or retreats. We slow ourselves down in order to be fully present in the moment for the people that we serve.
Yeah.
They deserve that presence.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that we fully, in a society and community, fully understand that our full presence is actually a gift that we give one another. Yet we have to slow down our mind. We have to slow down even some of our breathing and our activity to enter in and be fully present. I would challenge people today, pay attention to the conversations that you're having. Is someone just being really quick with you and not really present, and just giving you some answers to scoot you along? Or are they really stopping and saying, I want to listen to what you're saying? Or are they giving you the body language they want to listen to what you're saying? It's a big difference in connecting with one another.
Yeah. Yeah. That slowing down really allows that connection. And then that connection leads to more trust, people actually having better outcomes when they're working together as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the next question is about thinking clearly.
Mm-hmm.
What helps you to think clearly and stay connected to being positive? And when we say positive, it's not just, oh, everything's just so grand all the time, because we know that that's not reality, but it's staying positive within our mindset of, I know I can move in and through this challenge, or I know I can embrace this really good experience. So what helps you to really think more clearly and stay connected to what is positive?
Yeah, thinking clearly can be a little bit of a challenge sometimes as I'm managing a toddler and an infant and all of the other things that I want to do in life, business, building business and working with clients. So what really helps me is to stay present.
Yeah.
And really, I've built up my awareness over the years and my ability to bring myself back to the present moment, because I literally, it's like a visceral reaction. If I'm not present, I start to feel chaotic, I start to feel disorganized, I start to feel frustrated. And for me, frustration is a big sign that I'm not like in my flow.
Yeah.
So if I'm feeling that way, it now triggers me to say, okay, get grounded, get back into the present moment. And really, what is most important to focus on in the moment right now? And we talked about this in a team building that we did earlier this week, because of all of the very long to-do lists that people have. Well, what's most important? And if you need to stay focused, focus on what's most important.
Mhm.
And I've gotten to the place where I'll be doing something and I'll say, this isn't what's most important right now. I need to stop this and go over here. Does that leave some things a little bit unfinished, which isn't necessarily my preference? Yes, but it does bring me back to the present moment of, I need to do what's most important right now. That helps me stay connected with myself, which then allows me to connect with others as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So as the next step of being processing information, there's so much information that's coming to us on a daily basis, and we're most of it is subconscious that we're filtering out. And it's important to be conscious of what we're actually filtering in and what we're allowing to come into our orbit, and what we want to pay attention to. So as you process information, more, or how will you process information more accurately when you're deeply listening to others? I know deeply listening is something you do very well. So,
I have to turn my deeply listening off.
yes. So how will you process information more accurately when you're deeply listening to others?
One of the first things that helps me is one, to really listen to the person's body language. Are they engaged? Are they disengaged? Are they looking at me in the eye? Are they looking down? Um, Rarely do we have phone issues with people looking at their phones. It's because they're in the coaching process or the team building process that's important to them. So that's a positive. And then I listen to the words that they're saying. What are key words? We all have language that we use on a regular basis. One of my words is absolutely. I catch myself saying that all the time, and I have to train my mind to put a different word in there, Tess.
Yeah.
And yet we all have language and words that are important to us. And I'm a wordsmith. I love words. So I pay attention to the words that are being used. And then what helps me process is to go even deeper of what you're using a certain word. What is this word meaning to you? And in that, gathering the meaning actually helps clarify how they're thinking. So the whole idea of processing and deeply listening is expanding the dialogue, rather than so often someone will say, I've got a big project to do. Oh, that's cool. Good luck on your project. Where's the dialogue in that? I've got a big project to do. Well, that's cool. What kind of project do you have? Well, it's a project that the VP gave me to work on. Well, tell me more if you can. What kind of things are you going to be utilizing? What kind of support do you need? Is there anything I can help you with? When we carry on the dialogue, it makes the connection. And
Yeah.
this is my question. I'm not sure that we always want to be connected. And so
Yeah.
connection is one of my key elements in my life, in my story, in my listening, in my work. I love connection. And I think that's even part of the success that you and I have, because we love connecting with people. Yet a lot of people don't need or want the connection.
Yeah.
So conversations are going to be very short, and the information may be pretty shallow. And so, that's what's so interesting as well. There's such highly intellectual people able to disseminate so much information, or assimilate so much information, and they use that intellect to their advantage, yet where's the dialogue? And information is important, don't get me wrong, yet I think the dialogue keeps us connected to further out the decision-making process that we need to make, and have the collaboration that we need to have in order to make good decisions to move businesses and companies forward.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the next question is, in your decision making, what is standing out to you of how you like to experience making decisions in your life and in your work, and how it impacts others?
Yeah. Our decisions are so important because they ultimately start showing us the kind of person that we are and the kind of life that we are creating,
Yeah.
right? So I have a few points that I want to say on that, but I do want to go back just quickly to the people, not everybody wanting to be connected, because I think that's really important, and it's pretty powerful statement. We live in a world where there's so many ways to connect, and there are plenty of people that want to connect, but we all know we might be working with someone now, or they're in the past where there hasn't been that desire to connect. And so I think it's important to distinguish when is it most important to have that like deep dialogue and have that deep listening. Especially for people like us, it might not be important to do a deep dive, and so that's something that we need to pay attention to in our own communication. But then as coaches, and what we do in the process of, okay, maybe people just don't want to answer questions as opposed to not wanting to be connected. So it's up to us to discern, okay, where do we need to keep pressing a little bit to have that connection. But
Yes.
it's also okay to not have a deep connection with every single exchange. And
Yes.
yet we will encourage you to ask yourself, if you're not getting the outcomes that you are desiring, well, where do you need to connect more? And that connection, I think, leads to the decision making as well. And the connection ultimately starts with yourself first. So if
Yes.
you're finding yourself not connecting with anybody else around you, or not even wanting to connect with others, I would invite you to think about your own connection with yourself
Yes. Yes.
and that inner connection, that inner grounding, because there's nothing that's more important than that connection with yourself. Because
Absolutely.
when you connect with yourself, that is when you can actually have all of the outcomes that you desire externally as well. So when I think about my own outcomes and my own decisions, certainly I want to have success for myself and those around me and those that I'm working with, because we have all set goals that we're working towards. I want to be able to support other people and what they're doing, and I reach out to others for support as well, which is really helpful. And mainly, I want to have fun.
Yeah.
Fun is, for so much of what we do is pretty serious, and we're actually not able to talk a lot about what we do and all of the outcomes that we have, because so much is confidential. And yet fun is always available to be had. And even in pretty much, I sure you can attest to this, through every deep listening conversation that you've had and coaching session that you've had, there's always some levity that's able to be brought, whether that's through gratitude or through just smiling and taking a few deep breaths and resetting yourself, or actually having laughs. We laugh a lot in in our work as well, because it's important to bring levity to all of the challenges and the difficulties and the complexities. We know that everyone is experiencing them, and I just feel so like wholeheartedly that we're all on different paths. We're all experiencing life and all of the things that come with it.
Yes, we are. And even this last week with our team building, we had a great time and so much fun. And we even created our own TC&A bingo game with our
Yeah,
leadership words, which was so much fun. It may people do love words, and it brought out different kind of conversations as well.
yeah,
And then within the team, this team is dynamic and they are rocking it. And it just was so much fun to take them into a deep dive and at the same time have levity and laughter because of all of the connections that we had with them and what that they had with one another. So
yeah,
it's possible to have all good things working together, which is what we strive for. All
yeah,
good things working together. And part of
yeah,
it is that starting place of staying grounded.
yeah. That's staying grounded, and it requires being aware. It requires raising your self-awareness. It requires managing your own self. It requires leading yourself. It certainly requires gratitude, paying attention to your breathing, slowing down, thinking more clearly, processing information. How do you want to process? And of course, making decisions. So, as we wrap up today, again, this exercise with more questions is available for you over on Tescoxandassociates.com on our blog. That's free. Every month we offer free exercise. Every month we're doing a LinkedIn Live. And we have a lot of amazing opportunities coming up for team building and team retreats. And if you're in the Santa Clarita area, if you're a business leader person in Santa Clarita, we are doing a community event, the Leadership Exchange, coming up in October 19th. So send me a message if you haven't already received a save the date for that. We will be sending out more information. But we are just grateful to be together today. We are starting the day being grounded, and we're staying grounded in the present so that we can be grounded for all of the days ahead as well.
Yes.
So thank you all for tuning in, and it was great to be with you, Mom, as always, and I will see you on the other side.
All right.
Bye.